For me, it's absolute pleasure to greet all those guys here that who are going to join us today for this talk. I'm going to ask Oleg to join us here on the stage. Probably most of you know Oleg from our WordPress community. So welcome, Oleg, and have a seat. Next online is Ryan Welcher, who is a developer advocate at Automatic, and he is a brilliant developer. So Ryan, welcome to WordCamp Sofia, mate. Anyway. Next is Nemanja Timbalevic, who's been here before, and he's all about AI. So today he's going to tell us more about it. And now I would like to invite Nick Wybachitsky also to join us. Nicky is the original gangster of WordPress in Bulgaria, the person who I connect mostly with WordPress. And our lovely moderator today is Petya Rajkowska, who is going to take good care of you guys. Enjoy.
Thank you, Stas. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you had a good lunch. I'm going to talk about the hot topic, AI, in the context of WordPress for the next hour. Before we begin, this QR code that you see on the slide above us is going to open an app where you can add your own questions for our panelists today. What you can do is you can ask your question there. You can also see what questions have already been asked, and you can upvote questions that you'd like answered if somebody's asked something that you are interested in before you have. I am strongly encouraging you to use that. We're probably not going to have time for all the questions at the end of the session, but we're going to try and answer at least 3 questions from the audience based on overall votes, etc. We're going to choose a couple of questions to do. So it's an easier way to do it, and like it's also kind of saves you from the stage fright of having to actually go to a mic and ask an actual question. So it's a fun QA for introverts, which I know quite a lot of you are. All right, before we start with the panel, I just want to say a couple more words about each of our panelists. So apart from WordPress guru in Bulgaria and somebody that doesn't know when the first WordCamp actually was in Bulgaria, which was 2010, not 2011. Nikolai is also somebody that takes care of development experience in Automatic, which means he handles quite a lot of developers, recruiting, shaping teams, etc. Nemanja, outside of being an AI guru, also works for GoDaddy and does like a lot of AI tooling and quite a lot of integrations. In there, Oleg is going to cover our kind of user-facing non-developer part of the AI topics, and Ryan, we're going to torture with questions about how AI is getting implemented into WordPress, and hopefully he can provide us with some interesting answers. So regardless of whether or not we're in an AI bubble, like we don't know whether that's it. But what we know is AI is like a super hot topic. It's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it, from code generation to content creation. Is it going to replace all of our jobs? Are the tools that we're seeing today, and how is it going to exist in the next 10 years? How is it changing the reality of our lovely CMS, full site editor, etc., whatever you want to call WordPress these days? We're going to go through several sections in this panel. We're going to cover the boundaries of AI. We're going to cover building trust in the AI era. We're going to talk a little bit about tools and workflows and what is useful and what isn't, what is expensive, what is affordable, what is, more of a hype, and what actually can change the way that you work. And we're going to talk about trust and reliability, and then we're going to end up with some learning and the future. All right, let's start with kind of grounding this all in reality. Where is AI genuinely useful in WordPress work today, and where is it kind of more of a hype? I'd love to actually hear what you're seeing day to day. A couple of things to start with. Let's try and differentiate between facts and assumptions. When we hear from our panelists, they already know that they're supposed to kind of be making that difference themselves when they're stating an opinion, and when they're actually stating a fact that they can back with data. But I'd like to hear day to day, what are you seeing? Where is AI genuinely useful in WordPress? So, let's start with you, Ryan. How are you seeing AI being used in the context of WordPress, right now in your day-to-day?
Well, it's everywhere, obviously, but I think I can just use some examples. For example, the plugin team that reviews plugins, they are seeing the highest amount of submissions ever. That's not all because of AI, but that is very much because of at least some of it is AI based, and that's a really good thing, because I think it's the barrier to creating a plugin for WordPress is being reduced because of some AI. Now, the flip side of that is that WordPress core is seeing a lot of patches that come in that are very obviously AI written and do things like rewrite entire file structures and all these things. That's an extreme case, but to the point where some maintainers are having to look at these patches and say, okay, well this person is like a regular person that's been submitting patches like crazy, and none of them are really something that we can use. So there's a lot of good, but there's also, and I think any new tooling is going to, anything that simplifies the ability to create is going to give us the ability to create amazing things, but also flood us with things that maybe...
Are you saying that this is blocking to an extent core development right now because of these...
I don't think it's blocking. I think there is just a certain amount of extra overhead in some cases. But the AI team, the plugin team, who do amazing work to get those plugins reviewed and out the door. They're leveraging AI to make that process better and smarter and faster. That's...
Can you do a little bit of an overview for everybody here about we know that there's a newly founded AI team that is a part of WordPress core. Can you do a little bit of an overview of what the AI team is focused on?
Well, their focus is AI and WordPress at a super high level.
Okay, what are they working on right now? Let's
okay,
even
great
more
question.
specific.
Yes. Sorry, I was being a bit pedantic there. Well, right now, the core AI team has been focused on getting the Abilities API at the server side into WordPress core, which will come out with 6.9 in a few days. So if you've been working with the Abilities API, it is very cool.
This is the topic of your talk after the panel.
No, my talk is on
the accessible.
It's the interactivity API, which is different, but that's fine. The Abilities API is super powerful. It's enabling you to basically add functionality to WordPress that's not there, and then in such a way that it can be ingested by other tools such as LLMs and MCP and all sorts of other acronyms that we'll all have to know and love in the coming 2 days.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to go to Nemanja next and kind of go a little bit beyond WordPress core. And we're going to talk ecosystem for a little bit. What do you think are kind of the limitations of AI in the ecosystem right now? What are you seeing specifically?
Sorry. So what Ryan said, a lot of people is using AI, but the problem is they are not validating what's coming out, and that's in my mind the biggest obstacle. You will get something, you will just be like, oh, that works. Yes, great, it works, but is it up to standard? Is it tested in different scenarios? Stuff like that. AI is a great tool, but it's just that. It's a tool, and you need to know how to use the tool. And in certain cases, it can be really powerful tool.
Do you have any observations of kind of how much of the big players in the general ecosystem in regards to kind of big plugin developers, etc., have adopted and kind of are implementing and kind of building AI into their product?
I have a feeling that whatever company still didn't start, they are already falling behind.
Okay.
So unfortunately, it did become a standard. So I can't say all, but I will say most of the big players are adopting AI on really high levels at the moment.
Can you give us an example of somebody that's doing it really well and somebody that isn't?
We can go from, I won't say simple things like Yoast with their, let's improve your site title, your website description or description of the web page. Then we have automated content generation, automated alt tag or image descriptions generation, up to automatics, for example, whole website build process where you literally get a website in matter of minutes or tens of minutes compared to hours as it was before.
Okay, cool, yeah, nice. All right, Nikolai, how do you know, how do we tell actually where AI is genuinely helping versus kind of generating more tasks, fancier workflows? You can speak for yourself, and then, like, kind of, if you'd like, give us an observation of broader views. But like, I'm most interested to kind of hear your own personal experience of what you're actually seeing.
I think this is very similar to the case of any delegation.
Okay.
AI is very similar to, I don't know, we can just think of it of another person we are delegating our tasks. And there is a difference between delegation and abdication. So just as other before me said, it's very easy to give AI tasks. It's very easy to do a lot of things. But both checking and having, and more importantly, being able to and having the understanding to actually know whether the final result is good or not is more often than not the actual blocker. Because people can now do anything. They can ask it to do a lot of things they cannot do, which is on some level great. But they can also ask it to do things they don't even know whether it's good or not.
Okay, so how do you validate personally?
Oh, I try to filter earlier in the process and try to ask it for things where I can actually tell whether it was good or not.
How do you validate others' output then?
The same way you validate output of people, it doesn't matter whether it was AI or a person, it was done by somebody else. And if I'm ultimately responsible for the final outcome, again, it doesn't make a huge difference to me. Again, it changes the dynamic between people.
Okay.
Somebody comes to you and say, hey, I did this, when they just used AI and they have no idea. It's way easier to have multiple layers of people having no idea what's going on. And these accumulate and build up, and it's very easy to create this snowball effect of, I guess, AI slop.
Okay.
Things that on the surface look okay-ish, but in depth don't work great. They maybe work at 70% is the thrown magic number where AI can often get you to. It can get you from 0 to 70% way faster than anything else and cheaper. But after that, it's usually you. Or maybe more AI if you know how to use it. But ultimately, you probably need to have the skills. So yeah, honestly, it's hard. And just because sometimes it's hard to check, it may not be even worth it in some cases. Or in some cases, it may be worth it to be able to develop the intuition about what it can do and how it works, because this is another thing that nobody really knows well enough.
Okay, right. So having a standard what you're using it and what you're not using it for. Got it. All right. Does anybody want to add anything to that? Go on, Oleg.
While we're still on validation, in terms of small teams like my team, we started to try understand how to find bugs in AI code. We changed processes of how to identify if this code is bad until we decided to treat the code written by AI tools like it's code written by human. We approach it exactly the same way like we approach a human work. So I don't, need to know if the code is AI generated or AI assistedly generated. I need to know if it's up to the standards. Is it up to what the client brief is all about? And then, of course, we validate with popular tools like plugin check PCP, for example. This is something that it's instrumental on building great code with AI. So this is how we do it in small teams. Just want to mention it.
Let's stay with you, Oleg. Actually, like this is a good transition into the next section. We're going to talk a little bit about tools and workflows now, and kind of what you are all practically using in your day-to-day. How is AI changing your workflows? What is earning your, its keep in your day-to-day? What is worth it? What is more of a hype? So, which specific AI tools? Are you seeing the most value in right now, Oleg, in your workflow?
I will mention two tools.
Okay.
The first one is Notebook LM by Google, which serves like the most reliable source of truth for me, because it searches a lot of sources for me. It compresses the information to be readable in few minutes. I can mind map with it. I can build product requirements documents with it and feed it to AI or to my team. This is the first thing.
Okay.
The next one is Cursor AI, which is a part of my presentation later on. This is the Swiss Army knife for me, because in it I managed to implement everything that I need in order to get great code for my clients.
Nice, awesome. Ryan, Nemanja, Nikki?
My tooling is very different than probably everyone else in here, because I'm more like, my role as a developer advocate, I spend a lot of time writing things, creating video, creating content. So I'm much more of a consumer of AI than I am, on the bleeding edge of it. But I use all the Chat GPT stuff for all of my writing to help me to create. I'm not a very good writer, and so I give it ideas and it spits out nicely crafted content, which then I make sure is actually accurate and all that stuff. I use a tool called Descript, which is a video tool. This is a paid tool, but I have a weekly live stream that I do that's about 2 hours long, and trying to automate, trying to get a highlight reel out of that down to 30 seconds could take me all day. It used to take me all day. Now I can do that with this tool. And there are other tools like this in like a minute. So like from a productivity point of view, it's amazing. I'm then able to generate short content and stuff like that. So for the digital marketers out there, or anyone who's trying to get a bit of an online presence, tools like this just are amazing. They're absolutely amazing.
Nice.
On the code side, I use Cloud in VS Code. I used to use Cursor AI, and it didn't work. I like VS Code. I don't like Cursor. I don't know why. That's a personal opinion. I'm not getting paid by VS Code or anything, but yeah. So I use VS
Not
Code.
yet.
And, yeah, not yet. Yeah, once they see this, I use Cloud, and it's been great. It's been fun. And GitHub Copilot and I do not get along. I don't know if anyone else likes it. Some people love it. Great, whatever. This is just personal opinion, but I tend to snooze it all the time when I'm doing stuff. But yeah.
Okay. Nikki first, and then Nemanja.
Sure. Still write a fair bit of code, so I use Claude Code a lot. I find it especially useful for understanding a new code base compared to writing code itself. Reviewing things, trying to figure out where something lives, how it actually works. And AI is really good at this, synthesizing information, which again, I can fairly easily check if it's right or not. But it would have taken me a lot of time to find it myself. Also, I use it a lot for both Claude Code and also different, like the chat tools. Each model is good at different things, but I use them a lot for feedback, not so much for creation. But I would rather, if it's text, usually Gemini works a little bit better and has all of the integration with their tools, whether Claude or ChatGPT for images. But I would give them my current thinking, and I would ask for feedback. Like, have I missed an edge case? What is, here are my goals. Is my thinking covering all of them? Again, I find it way more useful than to ask it, hey, create the plan for me.
Right, yeah.
But starting from me and from the goals and a little bit of a plan, like more of a, I don't know, a rubber duck debugging buddy.
So excluded humans whatsoever, you know, from your developing process.
Humans are okay most of the time. But with a little bit of being more selective, AI can be also good.
Okay, cool. Have you trained your own personal kind of coding assistant? All right. Nemanja.
Yeah, so it's already mentioned a couple of times, Cursor definitely for active development. The planning feature that they introduced recently, it's not great, it's not terrible, it works. If you know, that's the biggest problem. Like the Cursor is, or most of the models, are pretty much like a really good product manager. If the product manager doesn't understand the concept, you will build bad thing. I will not say another word.
Pants.
Pants.
Yes.
But, you know, like, so that definitely Cursor is there for active development. ChatGPT is there, and just web browser version, is there to analyze the prompts that are created for the product itself. And the one thing where I actually use Copilot is for code reviews, like sanity checks. Did I make a terrible mistake that will actually break the code, but Cursor didn't get it, or Cursor actually produced it? And the biggest problem comes from the fact that I'm writing in the language that I'm not particularly proficient in.
Okay.
So pretty much the output of my code that's AI generated will be above 98%.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, staying with you, actually, like, let's expand a little bit on that, like, and talk about how AI is changing collaboration across the people that are creating a product. So, how do you think AI is changing collaboration between developers, designers, like marketers, and clients? Do you have any touch points with, like, the other people working on the product?
I can say how it works for us.
Okay,
like
yeah.
with our product,
Okay.
who is heavily using, but really heavily using AI tools. So if you will take that requirement, put it into another AI tool, you will possibly start to see issues, because now you are having AI generated code that's doing AI generation again, and there is miscommunication. I don't know why, but there is. So you need to read what was written, figure out if there are anything that's being missed, or anything that is not directly or clearly defined, or it's completely contradictory, which happens quite often. And then you feed it into the planning part, and then you move on. But it can help. Again, tool. You need to be careful, you need to read, and you need to figure out if there is anything that you don't want to be there.
Right, okay. Yeah, Oleg, can you add anything on the client side or like on the...
I want to ask a question. Do you have in your workflow a review of the prompts in the PRDs or something like that? Or you review only the code when you have something that you know it's not okay?
For prompts, we use slightly different logic, like the prompt engineering. It's a terrible word, prompt engineering. Like story writing is basically one part of the job, and that you do separately, and that you analyze with 2, 3, 4 different models to get the result you want. And the code review shouldn't even be worried about the prompt. It should worry about the logic. That's my experience, at least.
Yeah? All right. Cool. So when we invite AI into our workflow, how do we then decide what to trust, what to check, what to chuck straight into the bin? Let's talk about risks and trust and reliability in kind of the reality of AI today. I'm going to start with Ryan. Should we start labeling AI-generated stuff?
Yes, with a big asterisk, maybe. I think if you're generating, if it's helping you to generate like a README content, or if it's just like we don't tell everybody that we use spell check on a document, right? Like that level of stuff is not something that I think you need to be aware of. Now, if you're creating a piece of video that has somebody in it and is representing your product in a certain way, and it was generated by AI, then maybe there is some due diligence there to make the viewer aware that is the case. I think in general, maybe I'll just say no then.
Okay.
I think you have to be aware of what you're creating and what the potential outcome of someone using that product, viewing that video, reading that piece of text. If the AI generation part is going to have any negative effect, then I think you should probably say something.
Yeah. Nemanja, what do you think?
Can I respond with one question?
Yes.
How quickly can you recognize AI written code or piece of comment when you get something to review?
How quickly can I recognize?
Yes. How quickly you can figure out this wasn't human, this was AI?
Well, if it's a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti, pretty easy.
No. I'm talking code. Yeah. I'm
Sorry?
talking code.
I don't think you
or
can. I don't think you can. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look at that. I think there are signs of AI generated stuff for sure. But again, I mean, if you're writing a function and a human wrote that function, or like a function, for example, is a very defined way. It's got a doc block, it's got parameters, all those things. Like, if an AI tool created that or a human created that, does it matter? Because it's the same sort of outcome, right? Am I answering the question, or are we fighting now? What's happening now?
Oh, no, we're not fighting. I'm
What
just
would
curious.
your answer to that question be, Nemanja, then?
I don't know. I tested a couple of times, and I had colleagues sending me some things, and I'm like, I know they can write the code,
Yeah.
good code, and then I get something, and I'm like, could you at least instruct your AI to do it slightly differently next time?
Can you tell it not
Yeah.
to do it like an AI would?
So maybe that's less about, maybe it's about the mispresentation of something created. Like if you're trying to pass something off that you created by AI as your own work from your brain, that's much different than saying this article was partially generated
yes.
you know what I mean? Like if you're saying I wrote the entire works of Shakespeare, but I'm not Shakespeare, that's one thing. But if you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So maybe that becomes what determines is whether you're putting something out there that is you're misrepresenting as your own work.
Yeah. We did talk a little bit about the validation before. So Nemanja, like, how do you know when to trust an AI output would be my next kind of question for you, because we heard from Nikolai, but like I'd like to know what the rest of you think.
I will go with worst possible answer. I don't trust it.
You don't trust it?
No. Whenever it comes out, I will do everything what I can to see can I trust it?
Okay.
But the default is, can it be trusted? No. Will it lie? Yes.
What are your validation mechanisms then? Like, what do you do to kind of understand whether you can use it or not, or do you not use it at all?
No, I have to use it.
You kind of have to use it.
I have to use it. No, like I really have to use it. But going from that, like I will check if we are talking code. I will check what it did. Simply go with a couple of edge cases that I know that I maybe stated them in the planning phase, and if those are not there, that's going from the easy things to check, like edge cases, to some more complex, to complete logic if it was not written correctly. If we are talking about the bigger piece where you have like maybe some substructure or something like still talking code, it can get the planning, even if it's written by AI, it can still get it completely wrong. So it's basically doing a code review of somebody with 6 months of experience, I will say.
Okay, good. And then up to the more important questions, like as Nemanja said, like loads of people don't actually trust AI. So how do we build trust then in an AI era when we know that AI is building half of the work that we are producing? Nikki, how do we build trust when AI is doing half of the work?
Yeah, it's actually harder to build trust between people just because we are in this initial wild west era where we don't have really well-defined communication strategies to know, okay, how much has the person did a review before submitting something.
So you don't know whether the people that have produced the output have validated whether the output is correct.
Exactly, because ultimately it's trust between people.
Yeah.
Just with the prevalence of AI currently, it's just harder to trust a person who you would have trusted yesterday, just like in Nemanja's case, where it's, oh, I know they can do it, but did they? Or did they just delegate it to AI and didn't bother checking? Because a couple of years ago, the option for them to delegate would be to find somebody in a, I guess, lower paid location to delegate it to, but it's logistically so hard and ethically too, so it was obviously a no-go for 99.99% of the people. But now it's unfortunately easier to, in addition to not trusting AI, for which I agree with them 100% that you just cannot trust it without checking, but also it's harder to trust people.
Yeah.
And this is something we need to collectively try to figure out. And
so how are you and your companies figuring that out at the moment? Like obviously we're stating why people don't trust AI, but like what are companies specifically doing to make sure that if they're using artificial intelligence, developing their products and outputting stuff towards end users, what are your companies doing to make sure people understand what your process is and how you validate?
it is a conversation. Actually, I was recently wrote internal guidelines. And these are a few of the points. A, you always own the outcome. It's never AI, because every now and then you hear, oh, here is my response to your question, but it was generated by AI, excuse if it's bad. I'm like, this is honestly not acceptable. It's whenever you write something, submit something, all of your work, you're the ultimate owner.
Yeah,
and
what happens when AI gets it wrong? That was going to be my next question. You know, who's responsible? Like, whose responsibility it is when AI is actually
And
wrong?
going from this, in order for this to happen, people should never delegate understanding of the work, because otherwise they cannot even tell whether it's good or not. And just as Sadra said, it doesn't matter whether it was written. I don't really care if AI helped with something. I care about the final result.
Yeah.
It is a tool. Whether nobody, just like Ryan said, we don't say whether we use the spell checker and nobody cares. But if there is a spelling mistake, it's bad. And you can't say, oh, there is a spelling mistake because my spell checker broke.
Right, Ultimately, you own the outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is the level of trust we need to establish between just us as people.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much we tell it to the agents, I don't think they'll change. They'll become more trustworthy much.
Yeah. How are your companies then? Nemanja, Oleg, maybe Brian, you want to talk a little bit about what's happening at .org? How are we communicating how much AI is used and What are we doing to make sure people understand that they can still trust our products, your products in this case?
I can say that we were kindly asked from the company to go with as much as possible AI-generated content.
Okay.
Am I proud on that? I don't know. But it is what it is. Does it make things quicker? Do we complete things faster? We do.
Has it caused any particular issues for you in regards to user trust?
Sorry, can you repeat the beginning?
Has that kind of led to any user trust issues on the side of your user base?
So far, not really. There are some things where, I mean, it again comes down to the final product. If the product is good, the customer doesn't know how it was built because they don't see the source code, they don't see anything. If it goes rogue in some moments, they will report the bug, but that's when it comes to ownership. They will not blame ChatGPT or they will blame us. Like, you did that, your company did that.
Yeah.
So
people don't care is what you're saying in regards to your user base.
Everybody knows we are using. We said it when publicly announced. We are announcing also the products that are directly AI oriented.
Yeah. As long as you stay focused on customer experience, then it's not really different for them. Well, Oleg, how about you in your line of work?
The building of trust is something that I don't really care about, because it is absolutely non-essential for me and my team. We have processes. We know how to work with each other. I don't care about my team using that tool or other tool. For us, AI is a tool in our hands. Okay. So we decide how to use it. If we make bad code with it and our clients are not happy or something else, then we have a problem. The quality of my product now is absolutely the same level like it was before we used AI. But in general, we built things now for 2 weeks that we previously built for 6 months.
Okay.
And with half of the people in it. So trust is not an issue for me. I don't trust AI to generate code by itself, for sure. But I trust if I spent enough time learning how to use it in order to not care about that. So,
okay. Yeah, this is again like a pretty good transition to the next thing that I want to talk about, which is like if you're running your business with half the people and like 200% the output, what happens to the industry and everybody's jobs and the product development in the future? So let's start with this question. Nikki, you run development experience at Automatic. If AI is replacing junior developers, how do you become a senior developer in this day and age? How do you like even approach and enter the industry? What are the first things that you need to learn? What are the skills that you need to have? And how do you become like actually experienced?
Yeah, this is a good question. I don't think that it's actually replacing junior developers.
Okay.
Just the expectations from them are slightly different.
So what is the new skill set?
It is, first, because of AI, anybody, if they want to, and if they try, can learn anything so much faster. Again, the key thing here is to try learning and understanding something in depth, because it's so easy to just ask AI to do it. And it takes extra effort and, I guess for some people, ambition and enthusiasm to learn it and to understand it in more depth, to understand the layer below. Again, why should I care about learning the specifics and details of a programming language if AI can just do it? I don't need to even remember
what to ask it though? Like how do you know what to ask?
This is tricky, and honestly, it's tricky for everybody, not just for junior developers or for people or for early career people. Knowing how to ask an LLM is borderline art, and it's something that requires a lot of, requires building an intuition. It's not like, again, it's not like learning a programming language or learning a craft. It's not, oh, here is the playbook, here is what I learned first, here is what I learned next. It's a lot of experimentation, because also it depends on the personality of the person who's asking, and also the personality, I guess, of the model itself. A model is, you know, some people fit or find a good fit with totally different models, okay. Or some people are triggered by certain responses. So learning how to write prompts, what kind of responses yield better results with a specific person is not something that can be very easily taught. So compared to any other type of learning, requires a lot more trial and error, a tighter feedback loop of somebody just trying things and seeing how it works.
Are there good sources to go and do that, or are we back into the kind of the self-made developer era, where you're learning? I mean, this used to be the 90s, right? Like everybody was learning to code, as you said. Like, I mean, WordPress prompted a lot of people to try and learn to code.
Yeah.
So are we back there, but like with new tools?
A little bit. I would definitely recommend for people to try the default prompt guide for their favorite model. Both OpenAI and Anthropic have actually fairly decent guides about writing prompts. Even if we don't go as deep as real prompt engineering, where you're writing, running API calls with prompts, it's definitely a skill that a lot more people will need to acquire at every level.
Yeah.
So with the junior developer would definitely not be the same journey. But there is a lot of opportunities for people who have a lot of self-drive.
Yeah.
And they can figure out a lot of things, because now they have way more accessible and super cheap tools. But they would need to put very different type of work, not just writing code, sitting all night, a senior person reviews them. They would need to spend all of this time trying to learn and understand things, trying to go into totally new areas without anybody prompting them. No pun intended.
What are you putting in a job description then? If you're hiring a developer nowadays, what are you putting in a job description? In terms of soft skills, hard skills, AI skills, what are you putting in a job description?
I'm not hiring anybody, but
if you would, imagine the world.
Like what you were just describing, though, basically describes the junior developer experience from like the 90s. Like I'm a self-taught developer, so I spent all of my time buying PHP books and reading them, and then writing code, and then trying to figure out why it didn't work. And so like now we're talking, instead of learning the languages and doing that, now we're doing that same experimentation as you're saying with the models and the LLMs. So, but
it feels way more open to people that are not like wanting to learn to actually code. Basically, like
well, I don't know. If you're going to hire an engineer, they should probably want to code.
Yeah. Do they need to know at least one programming language?
I don't know if that matters. I'm not hiring anyone. This is just my opinion. But I mean, the concept of programming languages have fundamental concepts. There's control structures. Yes. There's like all this stuff. So if you're writing Python or JavaScript or PHP, those ideas are fairly consistent with obvious nuance. So maybe you don't need to have an understanding of one programming language very deeply. Maybe you just need to understand what makes up a programming language, and then ask it to write a Python script or whatever script, right?
Yeah.
So,
are we in an AI bubble then? Like, everybody's talking about it. Like, are we in something that is like artificially being kind of blown up and shoved in our faces? Is it gonna burst? Who wants to take that?
I can take it.
You can take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking at there isn't a ton of information out there. And again, this is mostly my opinions, but it doesn't seem that a lot of the companies trying to sell AI are incredibly profitable just from the AI side, which is a good sign of a bubble. But also, I think there are good and bad bubbles. If there is a real estate bubble in the aftermath, if it bursts, we are left with millions of empty buildings, which is not good for anybody. But for AI, all of this money is actually spent on, I mean, not all, but a lot of it is spent on research.
Training models.
Yes, it's spent on training models, it's spent on really all of the brightest minds right now are working on AI, working on research. So this would probably be useful for something.
Okay.
Again, maybe some people will lose some money, maybe some people, if a bubble bursts, maybe the prices will go up of models, which we should have a plan B. If all of our usage tomorrow starts costing 20 times more, are we still gonna use it? Would it be worth it? Because it's obviously subsidized now, but all we know, I'm quite excited whether it bursts or not. It still seems to be to at least move
You want to see what
the
happens
area
next.
forward.
Yeah. You want to see what happens next.
I mean, the models will be there. Nobody can get them away
Get them
from
away.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nemanja?
so
Yeah, the tech is there. The tech is not going anyway or anywhere. But I made a comparison about that. Like when the cloud became a thing, there was a small company from US called AWS who decided to start a cloud business, and they were affordable and the prices were fine. And 15 years later, they are charging you by the byte in their internal network. So is there a bubble? There needs to be a bubble for have this quick development, and we need to say quick, like it's insane what's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's even worse than JavaScript frameworks 10 years ago. But if it bursts, the worst thing that can happen, a lot of companies will have to readjust.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
I think there's
What-
a lot
yeah,
of
go on.
everyone needs AI. Like everyone's like adding chatbots and doing this. It's like when headless WordPress came out, everyone was doing headless WordPress because that's what all the marketing people wanted. So I think eventually that's going to, die off. Not everyone needs a chatbot. Or maybe they do. I don't know. But I just think that eventually, not every little thing is going to have AI attached to it.
Okay. Cool. We are going to go into Q&A in a bit. I'm going to ask one more question to our panelists. I just want to remind everybody that this is the QR code to ask a question and to also upvote questions that I've asked. We have a fair amount of questions already. So now is the time if you want to definitely have one of those answered, kind of get on there and kind of upvote the questions that you want answered. All right. A little bit of a more philosophical question. No, first of all, actually a pretty specific one. Is WordPress going to become redundant?
No. Short
Okay.
answer, no.
Short answer?
Yeah,
No.
I think it's going to change. I mean, it's we're just getting AI in WordPress right now with 6.9. We have the building blocks for that. 7.0, I think, is going to include some of the client-side stuff. All that hasn't been really mapped out yet, but I think that AI is the future of WordPress. I know that that's what the AI team is focused on, making
Yes.
sure that we have everything that we need to be able to build amazing experiences with WordPress. So I don't see it becoming redundant because it's a tool. It's another tool. WordPress is a tool.
Yeah.
And so I don't see it going anywhere.
Okay. Oleg, do you have a different opinion?
No, it's the same opinion. Just want to say that next week's update, the 6.9, it's for me personally is the revolution of WordPress. It's the next big thing. For sure, it deserves to be a rounded number, not 6.9 for me, but this is other topic. With this update, with the abilities API, with the capabilities and the other APIs that WordPress already have, we will soon be able to speak with our websites via our favorite chat GPTs, Geminis, and stuff like that. So the next big thing of WordPress starts next week. This is
Nice.
my opinion.
Okay, right?
Yeah, it's similar to the REST API, I think. Like when the REST API came out, that fundamentally changed what you could do with WordPress. It's the same thing.
Good. All right. Nikki, WordPress, redundant, yes,
Oh,
no?
no. It may not be super easy to figure out what is its place, but I think WordPress is in a really good position to be an intermediary between people and LLMs because of mostly its ubiquity and the way it structures information and content makes it way easier for an LLM to work with than in whatever other format people can throw at it.
What is ubiquity, Nikolai?
That
the
it's
majority-
everywhere.
It's okay. All right. Nemanja?
Yeah, it's staying.
It's staying.
It's staying, but
definitely staying.
It's the same like when we talked about developers and like how we will. It will redefine. Like the
Yeah.
junior developers will need to exist. Just the skill set required for them will be slightly different, as it was 20 years ago. If you were starting with the WordPress or starting with PHP, it was much different than it is today. So it will adjust and move on.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to move on to audience questions now, and we're going to start with the most upvoted question, which is, what do we do when Skynet goes online?
Buy a little shotgun and a motorcycle and go.
Run to the hills.
Does anybody want to give a little bit of context for people that maybe don't understand that question?
I have a slide for that in my presentation.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay. Go to
exactly
Alex's
for that.
presentation to find out.
But in 2 words, when Skynet came, make sure that you say thank you in ChatGPT. This is for sure.
All right, cool. The next most upvoted question is, does AI content generation affect SEO negatively? And do the search engines prefer human written content, or it does not matter?
This is so...
Not it.
Probably the first question is, and the real question is, in a little bit of time, who will even care about SEO? Because right now, if you do a Google search, the first result, and like this much, is actually AI generated itself. So we probably have a little bit bigger problems than figuring out the impact on the SEO of our site, because there is impact of ours. Our site may not even show up.
So what is the more important question then in regards to making your content more visible? Because I think that maybe this is, the purpose of this question.
I have no idea. Maybe some other people.
Anyone else? I'll go ahead.
In terms of SEO, I work with a lot of big SEO companies.
Okay.
And in the last 10 to maybe 15 months, we have clients that reach the number 1, 2, 3 in the SERP because of AI and the content generated correctly, perfect content that you cannot tell that it is AI generated. So for sure, the chaos that is SEO will continue. This is one of the new trendy things that will help SEO continue to be chaos. So you cannot determine.
So do search engines prefer then human written or AI written content? Do we know?
I don't know if we know, but would they know? Like
Would they know?
If you're just writing, like if you're updating the meta tags on your site, how's it going to know if those characters were generated by a human or by? I think there's a lot of question around, like, is AI bad because a human didn't create it? And I think some of the answer is, like, can anyone tell the difference when it matters? Like, like I know Google's smart and they have some amazing tools that I will never fully wrap my head around, but I don't know if they can tell whether or not a human pressed a computer keyboard, like a key, or whether that was generated by an LLM. Like, I have no idea. So if someone knows, please let me know.
Google don't care. Yeah. They provide you with one of the biggest tools to create that content. Yeah. So they don't care. They want you to produce helpful stuff for the people. If that is helpful and they like it, Google will promote it. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Maybe a better question is, will Google then favor the content generated by their models? So maybe, you know.
It's content, it's just content.
So what
This is
we've learned
content.
is like there are a lot of cool questions that we can actually ask that don't have answers yet. But like it's good that we are at least thinking about the questions. All right, I'm going to ask Jenny's question last, and it's how do you think AI will change the career progression in the tech space? Nikki?
I'm actually quite excited because it will really favor people who can use the tools for learning because they would get filtered out overall and fairly quickly based on the quality of their work, which is, again, it is what ultimately matters. And without the help of AI, just all of the learning was slower, so we had a lot more artificial steps and levels. And now a single person can a lot faster learn a lot more things. And I'm excited about these higher expectations from people. As we said, yeah, it's a different skill, but also it's a different world. And the people who adapt will do well, just like at any point of history.
So curiosity, willingness to learn and adapt, and
yes,
not
drive.
People
who take more initiative to learn to ask, whether ask the AI or the person next to them. I do think this difference in skills will be even more pronounced than now, when some hard skills could have let people just get by so well because they were lucky somebody forced them to study whatever thing in school, and now they had these special hard skills. And a lot of the hard skills, or how special they are, is going away a little bit. So we are going back to the essence of who can actually do something useful with the tools they have, and not so much about education or luck.
Okay. Can we do a last one because we're out of time? Let's do a thumbs up and thumbs down on the impact of AI on WordPress. Yeah? What about you? What about you? Thumbs up. You can also do in the middle if you don't know, okay? Yeah? All right. Okay, I think this is a good way to finish. You should stay for Ryan's talk. He's going to take the stage next. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you to our panelists for the lovely conversation.
Thank you, Petya.